Hi everyone, good evening and welcome to all the learners from Emeritus and Eruditus. We are here again for our guest lecture series by Career Services. I'm Sugandha and I will be moderating this session today. If you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A box and we'll take them up at the end of the session. So our guest for today is the head of customer engineering with Razorpay. And he has more than 16 years of experience in managing multiple cross-functional teams spanning across various lines of business. He is instrumental in building the technology captive center for an Emeritus Financial Fortune 250 company from scratch, built and managed service management teams, application management, command center, data management, and disaster recovery. Operations insourced and offshored multiple teams spanning across various lines of business and business units and various technology areas. So at Razorpay, he has built the technology command center from scratch and managing two major verticals, that is service management and product support engineering teams. So please join me in welcoming our guest, Mr. Vikrant Saini. Our topic for today is career and business growth by customer engineering. Mr. Vikrant, welcome, and the stage is all yours.
Thanks, Sugandha, for the nice introduction. Good evening, everyone. Let me share the screen. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. Glad so many people have joined and taken out the time on a Friday evening. I can see that 125 and the number is still growing. So it's a huge number. I would like to start with a disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this webinar are my own and have no relation with any particular organization. Would like to give you a quick background. Sugandha has already covered most of it. I had customer engineering vertical and Razorpay, and I have more than 16 years of experience working and managing customer engineering teams. I've worked with multiple companies from mid-size to Fortune 250 companies. I've experienced building these teams from scratch. I'm still learning on a daily basis, and when I see my job has stopped challenging me, that is when I think of moving ahead. So let me ask a question to all of you. What is your understanding of customer engineering team or teams? Sugandha, can participants unmute themselves and speak, or do you want?
No, this is on a webinar format, but they can type in the chat box.
Okay. Yep. If you can type in the chat box, what is your understanding of customer engineering teams or team, or what exactly is customer engineering? Anyone? Otherwise, I'll have to pick the names. I can see the list. I don't see a single response yet. Okay. Durga has raised a hand. Durga, okay. Improved understanding customers. Yeah. Solving customer issues, end-to-end functioning of customers. Being able to use data to engineer outreach the customer. Provide service to the customers. Okay. Technology to build customer relationship. Okay. Yep. Somebody mentioned understanding customer needs and personalize their solutions. Renu. Very good. Transformation. Okay. Thank you so much for an overwhelming response. Yep, improving customer experience definitely is an outcome. Okay, so I get this question a lot. Many people ask me, what do you do in customer engineering teams? Okay, that's fine. It's understanding customer behavior and designing product and support accordingly. Makes sense. Thank you so much. Designing a service and product based on customer feedback. I'm sure I will be bombarded with so many good questions, and this session will definitely be enriching for me as well. So I think almost everybody has put in their understanding of customer engineering team. Okay, so this team work with a mindset of customer first. I know we have many freedom fighters on the LinkedIn who now say that we now should work with employee first mindset, but that will take its own time to realize at the ground level. So your main focus in every single customer interaction being customer success. Due to this unique aspect, we call these teams as customer engineering teams. As a customer engineer, you act as a glue that binds a sales team with a customer on one hand and with internal product and engineering teams on the other. You are the technical point of contact for the customer. So your customer and sales team on one hand and product, dev and engineering teams on the other hand. That's what the customer engineering or a customer engineer do on a daily basis. So you are engaged from very first discovery conversation where you explore what customer is looking to achieve. You take that introduction in identifying the solution, in building the right architecture, engaging the right partner, engaging the right stakeholder, demonstrating the idea, presenting the solution to the multiple stakeholders, executing the proof of concept, and finally overseeing it while the dream gets implemented. So in these roles, you're constantly challenged by your stakeholders, your peers with customer problems at hand. I'm sure many of you must have experienced that when you're bringing your problems to the dev or engineering teams, you get challenges, right? You have your own priorities, they have their own priorities to fix the solutions. So there is always a gap between understanding of the priority of the customer. So any customer engineer should have a deep understanding of product and technology used in developing those products, such as why the products of your company are unique in nature. So let's say you go and talk to a customer. I think somebody is raising the hand. Can we lower the hand if that is fine? Or you can put the question.
I'll do it.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So any customer engineer should have deep understanding of the product and technology used in developing those products, such as why your products are unique in nature. As a customer engineer, you are the face of your company. The conversation you have with your customer include a wide range of use cases. Yep. Nirmaljeet has mentioned, if I understand correctly, customer engineer is the one who handles all stakeholders to provide service to the customer. They actually act as a bridge between your customer. So again, I'll repeat the same line. Your sales and your customer in one hand and your dev and engineering teams on the other hand. You are basically the gap. You are basically bridging the gap between both. That is what the customer engineer do. So as a customer engineer, you are the face of the company, right? You get to have some really strategic conversation with the customer that have direct impact on their business, revenue, or products. And you get to be part of impact your customers are trying to have on the world. That is where the whole change of picture lies. It is absolutely rewarding when you work with a non-profit, whether you work with a non-profit startup or a well-established enterprise. It's just that when you work for your customers to bring the impact to their users or their customers. So it's customers to customer impact. So customer engineer attack the hardest possible problems in the best possible ways. It's simple. Absolutely, Nirmal. You have to know the details of product, services, as well as sales to an extent. So a customer engineer is a part salesman, is a part engineer, and is a part dev person. Isn't it? Okay. They work with the customers that look up to them in solving some really hard problems, and this actually require an out-of-box thinking. There is a question put in by Girish. It is similar to the solution pre-sales team present. To an extent, yes, but pre-sales team is more focused towards pre-sales. Their job just ends after that, after putting the SOW, after putting the RFP responses. Customer engineer is more to that. Yep. So the companies have shifted from a reactive approach to a proactive approach in engaging and building relationship with the customers. As an example, we now monitor our systems on a proactive basis rather than customer reporting issues to our systems. I think if you are from the IT background, you know that we have moved from the reactive monitoring to a proactive monitoring, wherein we know, we need to know if any system is going down in the next 15 minutes. We need to get it fixed before it actually hits the merchant, or any merchant comes back to us reporting the issue to us. Okay, moving to the next one. Okay, now I would like to talk about what teams comprise of customer engineering. Right, people from IT can relate to level 1, level 2, level 3 operations team. Those who are from mechanical industries can relate to operations team. No, it's not R&D. Absolutely not. I'm actually answering some of the chats which is just popping up. R&D is definitely a different world altogether. These operations team at times take a step back in interacting with customers directly. I think that is a missing link. So we need to have these teams talk to customers directly sometimes, if not often. Okay, why there is a need to interact with the customers? I mean, that is the obvious question we should all have. I'm sure you must have faced the challenges in making the technical or operations team understand the urgency to fix the customer issues. Right? So on the other side, you must have faced challenges in communicating what technical teams suggested to the customers. I faced a lot, right? When I go back to the technical teams, telling them this is a problem, they giving me a solution. When I'm going back with those words, customer barely understands that language, barely understand the communication. So as a customer engineer, we have to convert the technical language into the business language, which everyone or a layman can understand from the business perspective. Similarly, when I go back to the dev teams or engineering teams with one priority, urgency for me will be different, wherein urgency for the dev or engineering teams will be different. I have to literally make them understand why this is a P1, why this is a P0, and why this is not. Why this cannot wait till tomorrow. So that disconnect between the urgency and the disconnect between the business and the technical language is where the customer engineering lies. So level 1, level 2, level 3 operations team, yeah, definitely that's actually the part of the customer engineering. Again, so there is a bridge to close the gap who can convert the technical communication to business communication. This is where the customer engineering teams, so they have a bigger customer perspective as compared to dev or engineering teams. They can suggest improvement in products better than any other team. I'm not saying dev and engineering team don't have a bigger perspective. They do have, but since these teams are closely working with the customers, they know, they understand what customer faces on a daily basis. I think they understand much more in a better way as compared to somebody who is sitting in silos working only on the product development. These teams can help and make dev engineering team understand the urgency as well. Tell me, if you're not connected to the customer, how will you feel their pain? So this is the reason why we call, the name is customer engineering. It's not the dev engineering. It's not something which doesn't have the customer name in that. Now that we have all the models we have when we build these teams, we can have segregated teams like level 1 who takes care of service desk type operations. So I'll understand some of the questions which has been put in the comment section. So level 1 takes care of service desk type operations, wherein they will have the chats, they will have the calls directly coming from the merchants, from the customers. They will be handling that. They have the standard SOPs to run through it. And then we have level 2 teams, which takes care of issues which are more towards product, but on a high level product issues. They're not going deep inside the functionality of the products. Then we have level 3 teams who go inside the product, somewhere more technical than L2, debug the issues which are product related. A kind of dev and engineering team extensions. If I have to talk about Google consolidated model, so Google has a consolidated model which takes care of everything. Level 1, level 2, level 3. They interact with the customers, they identify the problem, build the concept nodes, coordinate with the stakeholders, coordinate with dev and engineering teams. They write the concept notes. They get the products implemented by dev and engineering teams and communicate back to the merchant. So the complete functionality, the complete function is basically consolidated in Google. They are basically different from what other organization works. So I will take a pause here. I'll just see what all questions have been posted. In case someone else has any questions, just post it in the Q&A session, and Naveen, job scope. I will be back. I will be back on that in the subsequent slides. Gauri Deshmukh has put in creating solution to address customer issues. Yes, but the whole life cycle. It actually talks about the whole life cycle. Talking to the customer, identifying the problem, writing the concept note. Interacting with your dev and engineering teams. Get the dream implemented at the ground level. Smita, do every company have customer engineering team? If not, how the gap is handled? That is why we are here in this webinar. There is a need especially in the startups, which are the new companies which are coming. You will find the sales team, you will find the dev and product teams sitting next to each other. The gap is the customer engineering team. Now, what happens is, let's say there is a merchant which comes to the business team or the sales team. They ask for a product enhancement. Business and sales team will directly go to the dev teams and they will tell them, by tomorrow, I need this product to be developed. That is where the whole gap lies. That is where the whole stress comes. That is where the whole disconnect occurs. Customer engineering team is there to pitch in, which is there to take care of level 1 issues. If it is a small issue, dev team don't have to be bothered. If it is something which requires a quick fix, customer engineering team can do that. Dev team doesn't have to come out of their sprint planning. Dev team doesn't have to come out of their usual project flow to do a quick fix. I think that answers your question, Smita. Sudhakar, what kind of mindset is needed to be successful in delivering customer projects? I know one key attribute is openness. Can you highlight some others? I think the mindset has to be the customer success, right? Whatever is in your capability, in your technical capability, you do it, you get the things done in your team. If not, get the things done from the dev or engineering teams. But understand their problem, their challenges also. You cannot have fixes in a day, and you cannot have product enhancements in a day, right? There can be times when you have to go back to the customer, tell them specifically this cannot be done in a day. We need some more time, and make them understand in their own language, which I think dev teams may not be able to. Okay, and Tanu Gupta, I'm not able to understand the concept. Can you please give tactical example on what does a customer engineer do on day-to-day basis in banking retail? So customer engineer teams are level 1, level 2, and level 3. I just explained that. They will be working on the issues which are a kind of service desk. And then you'll have the level 2 teams which go a little deep into the product, and level 3 teams which go and do some product fixes also. Hema, how do you modify the product to be specified each customer problem or a pain point? The product itself will be fluidic. Hema, can you rephrase this question and post it back? Arindam Mitra, how is it related to product management that we are studying? So product management is definitely, so product team is different from customer engineering team, right? They design the product, they write the concept notes in detail, they do some product enhancements, and then those notes goes to those release notes goes to the dev teams to develop the product, right? You are lying between the sales, customer, and the product and the dev teams, right? This is the gap. I think this is something which I've already explained. Will recording be shared with all the participants? I think Sugandha will be able to. I think yes. Is it the same as customer support team in the SaaS company? No, customer support is one part of customer engineering team. I mentioned that level 1 team is customer support team. Kindly help us relating to it. Arindam, Okay. I mean, you have to rephrase the question. Which company, which department, or from which organization you're coming from? Just explain that. I'll try to connect the dots. What about customer support team? I answered that. It's a level 1 team. What is the ideal process for flow between sales, engineering, and success team? Very good question, Corey. So sales, I think you all know that we have 2 types of sales team. One is direct sales and other is CAM, key account management, which takes care of the existing customer. Usually you will get issues coming from CAM teams, which is a sub part of sales team. And sales team goes to customer engineering team. Customer engineering team sees or observes whether this issue can be fixed in their purview. And then they will route it. Then they will engage the dev teams if in case it is required. So the flow is sales, customer engineering, dev and product teams, and from dev product to customer engineering to sales and to merchants, and at times directly from customer engineering teams to merchants. So it's both ways. Okay, Nikki, how can customer engineering team help in retail? Are sales team part of it? Sales is different. This team have some competency of sales team. They should be able to sell their existing products also. I'm not saying they have to go and start putting a sales pitch, but when you're talking about your existing product, when there is a problem with existing product, you always go and pitch in for the product which is much more or robust, much more effective than what is the current, which the customer is using. I think I answered the question. Hema, is this only relevant to software and IT products? To an extent, yes, because I came from an IT background, so most of the examples I'm giving is from the IT background, but customer engineering teams exist in the mechanical industries also. If not, we have to build those teams. Otherwise, the gaps which I mentioned, right, it keeps on popping up. Okay, that's the end of the questions. Let me talk about the command center team. So there is one more team which plays an important role in customer engineering. This is called as command center team. This is close to me because I have built 2 teams in 2 different organizations from the scratch. So this team is responsible for monitoring the important metrics, escalate, engage the right stakeholders on the conference calls, parallelly send the business communication to the customers and other stakeholders during any issues, outages, or impacts. This is non-existent in most of the companies, especially the emerging startups or the mechanical companies, wherein you don't have any metrics to monitor. I've seen the command center of our North India electricity board. If someone can go in Delhi, right? It's a big command center, and you see enormous screens that were displaying what is the current status of electricity in various regions in North India. So it's huge, right? It's coming from it's in electrical companies, it's in core engineering companies, IT industries, definitely for sure, yes. So imagine you have 10 plus products and completely dependent on technical teams to monitor their production systems. You're missing this important link. Most of the times, issue will be reported to you by your customers, and then technical teams will come into action. That is where the customer experience breaks. If customer reports an issue to you, you are anyways one step behind your customer or your competitors. So we have to identify the issues, the problems, or any impacts that is occurring in a system proactively before customer actually faces it in the real world. Does that make sense? I mean, in the comments, in the chat, you can put yes, no. Okay, coming to operational metrics. I'll take the questions after this slide. How to measure the performance of these teams? You have set up that. So some of you who are coming from the IT background may know some of these items. I mean, MTTA, MTTR. So first is that in your company, you have to set up a ticketing system where all the customer problems can be logged. Now, once you have set up the ticketing system, then mean time to acknowledge. Average time to acknowledge the tickets is MTTA. So what is the average time your engineers are taking to acknowledge the tickets which are being logged by the customer? That you can actually track it. When I say acknowledged, a positive handshake communication was sent to the customer. So let's say a customer has raised a ticket. I acknowledged it and I have sent a positive communication back to the customer. That is what is called a mean time to acknowledge. Now that is the first level of acknowledgement wherein customer knows that somebody is there to take care of their problem. And that is the reason this is very important metric in any of the operations. Second is MTTR. There are many others, but these are the major ones to start with. Average time to resolve the tickets, self-explanatory. Right? How much time an engineer is taking to resolve the tickets. You take an average of 100 tickets, or let's say there are 100 tickets which are coming in a month. You calculate the metrics and you prepare the target, set a target, and you will be effectively able to measure the effectiveness of your customer engineering teams. Without setting the target of MTTA and MTTR, you will not be able to evaluate their effectiveness. Make sense? Okay. Kiran, I will request if you can put the question there in the Q&A section. Is MTTR alternate to TAT? Yes, to an extent. TAT is with a target already, but MTTR is something target is already set and you have to close it within the target. It's basically different. It's not similar to that. TAT is something you give from yourself. MTTR is something which is given to you by the company, is given to you by the leadership. Okay, next is availability of products and system in IT industry. Start monitoring the availability of your products and systems. If you're not doing that, you are actually missing an important metric. Last one is MTBF, mean time between failures in mechanical industries. This term is actually coming from mechanical industries. It means average time between product breakdown. So these are the formulas. If you have to calculate the availability of your product and systems, it's 1 minus total outage time divided by total number of operational hours. This is just to calculate the percentage. Volatility or mean time between failures, total number of operational hours divided by total failures. So let's say there are 100 hours and your product failed 2 times, 50 hours is MTBF. Okay, now let me take some questions from the Q&A section. Can we say pre-sales team that helps solution the product? Can we say that they are the pre-sales? No, they are not the pre-sales team. Pre-sales team is a small. So pre-sales team don't work on incidents and tickets. Pre-sales teams will be working only on creating the solutions which is on top of which is already there. So pre-sales team will not be going in fixing the issues in the products. Customer engineer is. Our social media command center a part of this mechanism? Yes, Prachi, you are absolutely right. As of today, I think we see so many social media escalations, and we need to set up a social media command center to address those queries. I know I can understand from where you're coming from, especially in the startups, wherein people are closely related. People just put one comment against one company and many people tag along, right? And then it creates a perception. I'll cover that in my subsequent slides. Sachit mentioned, Sachit is saying someone from research consulting KPO industry be a part of customer engineering team. Yes, absolutely. Can he fit into product and SaaS company? Absolutely, Sachit. What is the role in FMZ? It's the same role. It's the same role. You have level 1, level 2 teams. It's independent of the industry. Role of engineering team in onboarding customer in product company. Role of engineering team in onboarding customer in a product company. So customer gets onboarded by the customer engineering team, but after the sales has been done. After sales complete it and they pass it on to the customer engineering team, they can do the integration with your current systems, with your products. They can bring the customers on to their products, whatever issues they are facing during the integration. Those all needs to be resolved by customer engineering team. Absolutely right, Gauri. Surabhi, is the session helpful for those who don't have any basic knowledge and who work in credit department? I'm not sure. I never worked in credit department, but if you know the basics of sales team, if you know the basics of dev and engineering teams, and if you know the basics of customers, how the customer interaction is, I think from that overall perspective, you will be able to relate. Okay, what does level 3 or level 4 do in customer engineering team? Could you please expand? Yes. So level 3 and level 4 teams are dev teams extensions. They actually fix some of the code or system related issues. They go deep into the product. They go a little more. They have more knowledge as compared to the level 2 team. Something which is not a product enhancement, something which is not a product extension, they should be able to resolve it. Rather than we sending code fixes or the product level fixes to the dev teams or engineering teams, I think customer engineering team should be able to resolve that. I think if that answers to anonymous attendee. That's the end of the questions. Moving to the next slide. Okay, what are the impacts now? If we don't have this function or teams, what is the impact on the organization? Yes, there is a brand impact. If you don't have the strong support teams, company will be branded as poor after sales services. Don't have to name the companies, but you have seen companies fallen due to poor after sales services. Ford, and it's a big example. Social media escalation. Someone posted social media command center. This actually answers your question, resulting in damage to the brand. You must have seen people posting, issues over the social media, and many people tagging along. It starts building the perception about your brand. You do not lose one customer, but you lose multiple. So you also lose your potential customers as well. See, your customers are your brand ambassadors. If one customer is happy, right, he will bring 2 or 3 more customers along with him. If he's in a mud, you know that is a self-explanatory thing. I think people from sales can answer that much more in a much more better way rather than me. Again, making every customer interaction as customer success, which I mentioned in the slide 1, is the mantra of customer engineer. Moving to the next slide. Okay, how to measure the outcomes? Yeah, this is important. So we talked about MTTA, we talked about MTTR, we talked about availability, and we talked about MTBF. How you will measure the outcome of this particular team? Whether your customer, those are the metrics, those are the inputs to the business outcomes. Right? Age of the customer with your brand. You calculate average age of a customer with your products, make it as a baseline, then measure each customer with that baseline number. Set the target based on age, and then push teams to achieve it. Somebody using Apple here, I think most of you use Apple, right? So Apple, what it actually does is, it's not how long you're using Apple 11. It's how long you are using the Apple products. That is what matters to Apple. That is what their success criteria. So age of the customer with your brand. And CSAT surveys. Obviously, this is a self-explanatory point. Make a baseline, set the targets, and for the teams to achieve the CSAT. You create a survey, put the ranking and put the numbers around it. Whatever survey is best suited for your brand, for your product, for your company. What is the skill required in these teams? Somebody has asked this question. This is the future of customer engineering, if you ask me. You have on one hand, you have sales team, you have engineering and dev teams, customer engineering teams, bringing a balance between these teams. Customer engineering teams do a lifting also. They do heavy lifting, we know that, but customer engineering team also do some heavy lifting, which reduces the pain of these teams. And it is actually required to function it better. I'll want to maybe close it with one line, and then after that I'll take the questions. So yours and your competitor's product knowledge is required. More you go deep into the product knowledge, I think better you will be able to yield the outcomes. And this line, definitely, customer engineers do not sell the products but never lose any opportunity. You're talking to a customer, you see there is an opportunity wherein our second product is actually fitting in. You don't lose that opportunity in selling it. I hope that makes sense. Okay, people who have posted the questions on the chat, if you can post it back on the Q&A, it will be helpful for me. So I have two. Can you please talk about certain SLAs of L1, L2, L3 based on severity of the problem, and how that this is different from industry to industry? Yes, so some of the SLAs we talked about, MTTA, MTTR. We have MTTE, mean time to engage. We have MTTD, mean time to detect the problem. For L1 teams, we have first time resolution, wherein how many calls you have resolved in the first call, right? Whether going up and down. So all these metrics, I think you can easily get it from the net about level 1, level 2, level 3 SLAs, how they are more compared. The more you go more deep, the number of SLAs, the metrics starts reducing. So it will be first time resolution, it will be MTTA, it will be MTTD, it will be MTTE also in the L1 side. L2 side, MTTA, MTTR, MTTD. L3, MTTA, MTTAR, MTTR, mean time to acknowledge, mean time to resolve. So more you go deep towards the engineering side, more you move more towards that, number of the metrics start diminishing. How MTBF, how it is correlated R's failure? Yes, so mean time between failures is the average time between your product failures. It's basically the warranty. So let's say you go and purchase an iPhone, right? They give you a warranty of 1 year. So they have calculated by testing that the mean time between failures is 1 year, and that is the reason they are giving the warranty as 1 year to you. And that is the relation between R's and the failure. Smita asks, can product team get competitors info from CE team? Yes, they should be getting. Customer engineering team should know their the competitor products also. I will suggest the product team should actually ask such things, such questions to the customer engineering team. Are we discussing about field and production support engineering team? Who is the bridge between sales and the product? Yep, you're right. Arul Nanthan, you're right. This is the bridge between sales and the product. For MTTR, does CE team resolve the ticket or the dev team? Yes, CE team. If it is not related to product enhancement, CE team has to resolve that, Ankita. What is the eligibility to be the part of customer engineering team? That is, a person can from sales and marketing become. Yes, you need to go a little deep. You understand what technology is being used in developing the products, understand it, and start from level 1. Start from level 1, go to level 2, and then to level 3 teams. Prabhat, if that answers your questions. We do measure B10 life of the product, durability versus actual life. So I don't know what B10 life is. Maybe you're coming from a mechanical industry, but from the IT background, we have taken MTBF from mechanical industry for now. Not sure about B10. Please discuss more on interactions with the product team. So you can ask specific questions, Smita. This team closely works. So In my opinion, sales team should not go to product team directly. They should go via customer engineering team. They should reach out to customer engineering, let them analyze what the problem they are bringing in. Maybe customer engineering team will be able to resolve their problem much more faster rather than the product teams, because they will go to product team has to surrender some of their OKRs, some of their existing issues, some of their existing products which they're building. So they have to take out some of the time, which may take some more time. So it's always better sales team to come to customer engineering team, and then customer engineering team decides whether to go to product team or dev engineering team. Is MTBF for SaaS product based on system based? On the system being down? Yes, you're right. Anonymous attendee has posted. Yeah, that's right. So SaaS-based product, we calculate between the failures. If your application is going down, that's a failure. That's different from the mechanical industry. I hope that answered your question. Vipul Bhatia, how do you measure value to the customer over the metrics? Customer surveys. And age of the customers, I talked about that. I think both. Customer will not stick to your brand if he's not happy with any of your product. He's sticking to your brand because he is happy with your products. So age of the customer, good metric to hover upon. Aisha, how do startups hurdle the gaps without customer engineering teams? They have to build the customer engineering teams. Command center team, many startups are not having the command center teams. This is something which came up as an opportunity for me in Razorpay. We were seeing so many outages were happening, and what has happened is that we had a discussion with the leadership, and then we brought up, now we have reduced all our outages. We haven't seen a single outage in last few quarters or few weeks basically. So startups need to think that they have to build the customer engineering teams to bring these things. Hema, could you please give a real life example of a problem on how CE team resolve the issues from your experience? Yeah. So let's say there is a product you're having, and that product, maybe take an Apple iPhone. I don't want to quote something which is internal to the company, but let's take an iPhone, and you have some issues with some of the softwares which are installed in the iPhone, right? You reach out to the customer support team. They take it up, they take the phone with them, and then they take one day to fix it. Issue is fixed without reaching out to the dev team, or they sending it to the service center, which is Apple authorized. That is an example of customer engineering team serving the customers on a day one. If that helps. Otherwise, what will happen if for the small issues also, your phone will be sent to the service center. It will take 5 days to go there. It will take 5 days to come back, and you are just stuck up in. So the total time to resolve TTR has increased, which just by giving the training to customer engineering team which are at on-site will be able to resolve it much more quicker than the dev or engineering teams or the product teams. Kapil Agarwal, sales team and engineering team speak different language. Yeah. So CE team is necessary. Absolutely, Kapil. That is where we are. That is what I have mentioned, that this team has to bridge the gap, because something which is coming from the sales team and something which is coming from the engineering team, sales team will not be able to understand. My API is having, or my database is corrupted because of this reason, right? Sales team doesn't have to tell this to the customer. There was some issue with the system that has happened, and that is the reason. Yeah, completely. I think you got it. Vidisha Roy, what is the value they are adding to the team? Is it similar to customer service representative in BPO industries? It's just one part of it. I've already answered that, Vidisha. Can you cover the CE team roles during concept testing phase? How CE team involved during that phase? They should be involved whenever there is a new product enhancement is going. They should be involved whenever the build started happening, so that they should know whenever they're going to the customer, they should tell the customers that there is a new product which is coming into the market. There is a new enhancement which will be able to resolve some of the issues. So they should be aware of that. There are some There are some programs which most of the companies run. I know in American Express, they run as production assurance, wherein they actually engage the support teams whenever they're building something new. Okay, I have answered Smita's question. Vishal, may we see a complete flowchart of the system comprising of all required positions and support system? I think the first slide is something, maybe I can hover it back to the first slide, but first slide is one which you can see the complete flow of where the customer sales team and the product and engineering team was actually placed. How can you define or see customer engineering at startup versus established? It's a good question. In a startup, the opportunities are high because there are new products which are coming. On a daily basis, there are changes which is happening. Established enterprise don't have changes on a daily basis. They don't have products coming on a daily basis. So customer engineering teams have to be, it's more essential in a startup kind of culture wherein they need to be aware of that. They need to keep their existing customer apprised of what are the new changes which are coming. But yes, in established enterprise, not more changes, not more products are coming. That is the reason the metrics are also relaxed. Okay, that answers anonymous attendee's question. How to assess unrealized value of product continuously? How to assess unrealized value of the product continuously? I think I've mentioned that specifically. Yeah, some of the metrics you have, MTBF is there. Imran Sayed, if I have to relate this to digital marketing, customer engineering team builds gap between clients using digital marketing products and engineering team in order to make product update changes to those digital marketing. Correct me if I'm under. You're right, Imran. This is the right understanding. Vishal, thanks. Deepak, can all these be applied to any startup with a budget crunch? Any specific suggestions for the same? Deepak, I will say start with L1 team. Don't outsource your L1 team. Most of the startups are doing this. They are actually outsourcing their L1 team. That is where they're actually losing the grip on their customers. Keep the L1 team inside you. Keep the social media. Someone actually put in a message, social media command center. Keep those teams internal to the organization rather than outside. It is okay. Start with the level 1 team. Don't build level 2, level 3 as of now if you have a budget crunch. Nirmaljeet Kaur, any startup in retail, we require CES but understanding now. Will they help in acquiring new customer? How will they add value to the startup in retail and the growth? Yes, acquiring new customer is sales job. They cannot go there. They cannot just go into the market, but something which sales has already brought in, existing customers which they are serving, they should be enhancing the customer's GMV or customer's existing value with your organization. So if your customer is actually using one product, this customer engineering team can help you onboarding that customer on multiple other products also. Aisha, encoding and decoding communication, is this what a customer engineering does? It's one part of it, Aisha. Understanding the product, building the concept notes, and seeing it dream getting realized at the ground level is something which customer engineering does. Okay, I see 3 more. Could you please provide some example, average investment needed to build a decent customer engineering team? It all depends on your company, Sachidanand. How big is your company? You need to see the flow of tickets which are coming on a daily basis. How many customer queries are coming? So based on that, you can do a capacity planning. I will say start with 6 people who can run at least 15x7 operations. You can run a 24x7 operations with 6 people also, but start with 6 people, run for 15x7, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. on a daily basis, and then slowly you increase it. Can they handle social media page? Absolutely, they can enable. Absolutely, train them for that. We do have social media teams. Nowadays, social media command center is coming as a separate function altogether. What does CE do in L2 and L3 support? CE is L2 and L3 is, I've covered that. L2 is more deeper than L1. They go into logs, they go into some of the product functionalities, they fix some of the product issues. L3 is more towards the product functionality fixes. Something which is not product enhancements, L3 should fix it. I currently had these teams. I have set up this entire flow from scratch. L1, L1.5, L2, L3, 24/7 support. Kapil, welcome to the club. Such a dollar value, please, if possible. I have not calculated if you ask me, but you can reach out to me offline, such as we can work on the capacity planning. I've done that. Gauri Deshmukh, how version migration and upgrades managed with minimum downtime? Yep, that is how you have to plan your migrations and updates. A major challenge. Update has to go in the middle of the day when your maximum customers are working, and you have to ensure. This is where your dev and engineering team comes into picture. Customer engineering team doesn't have the capability to manage the migrations and updates. This is not something they are part of the job. Dev and engineering team should come back with such robust testing plans, such robust change plans that they route the traffic to the secondary servers, and from there you do the upgrades and migrations. Debarati Saha, what background do customer engineers generally come from, since they require an understanding of product technology and sales as well? I have seen a mix of people, usually engineers, because at times they have to understand sales. You can train them on, if they're coming from the sales background, you can train them on some of the technologies, give them some product KT sessions, so that I think somebody having good analytical skills will be able to acquire these skills. So check analytics, Devrati. Pranay Prasoon, from your experience at Razorpay, apart from tracking the metrics, what was the hygiene factor of the process improvement that you did to ensure that you were able to meet the desired results on the metrics? Lot of things, absolutely. It's a right question. So tracking the metrics is one of the inputs which you actually do. You build the OKRs at the organization level, and those OKRs, objective and key result areas, those OKRs needs to be broken down in different teams. As an example, let's say you have to achieve an MTTR of mean time to resolve for the complete Razorpay, or for complete your organization as 100 minutes, right? Within 100 minutes, all your outages, your issues are getting resolved. Now, you cannot do it as one team because you manage one product. There are other teams which are managing other products also. So you have to break down that OKR and assign it to each team. So all this process also comes as a part of managing these teams. Does that answer your question, Pranay? Anonymous attendees, should C team also choose sales like upsell and cross-sell? Yes, absolutely. I will, Nirmal. You can search me with the name of Vikrant Saini. Aisha Ibrahim, how is operation management different from customer engineering? Example in telecom sector. Yes, so operation management enhancement is customer engineering basically. Operation management, at times we are just so much closed into operations, we're just so much engrossed in fixing the issues and tickets that we don't even care. We don't do an out-of-box thinking. Why these type of issues are coming? That is where re-engineering comes into picture. So Aisha, I think there is a need for that particular company which only is engrossed in operation management to come and think beyond what they are doing on a daily basis. Why they are doing the same thing on a daily basis is one question which they should ask. Challenge the status quo. What are the metrics you capture for delighting your customers? I talked about MTTA, MTTR, availability of the applications. We do tell them how much downtime we have acquired in the previous. And then we do talk about the age of the customers. That is another thing which we delight our existing customers. Same here, handling L2, L3 teams from past 7 years. Welcome to the club, Rohit. Nirmal, what role does dev team has to do in the retail sector? I mean, in retail sector also, you must be having product and the product development teams basically. So that is what I'm referring to here. What will be the career progression of a customer engineer? I think in same which, so in customer engineer, you have different levels, right? You become a manager, you become a director, you have multiple customer engineering teams. Patience in Rohit Gupta, patience in handling customer cases and keep reaching out to different individuals in different direction. Don't take on yourself, I'm going to solve this issue by learning. Okay. Yes, you answered the question. Thanks for the inputs. Okay, Kapil, in addition to engineering and some sales, the CE team should have understanding of business to talk to customer BRMs. Absolutely, Kapil. I think you must be in some of the service industries, TCS, because BRMs are basically coming from those industries. Yes, they are a part BRMs also, customer engineers. What is a typical skill set required to be known as a CE? Basically, what do companies look for a CE to hire them? It depends. If you're hiring for a L1 team, you hire for L1 skills. If you're hiring for a Google, we're in a consolidated model, they will be looking for the technical skills also. They will be looking how much you are deep into architecture, what technology you have worked upon. So it depends on which company you're applying for, Nirmal. If you're applying for a company which have the segregated teams, L1, L2, L3, and which team you're applying for, based on that opening, you apply. Based on that opening, you prepare your skills. How do you start this as a career? Any specific course or study? No, I didn't. Okay, it's just that operation management. I started from operations management, and then so I was a TCSer for 7 years. I did work in Emeritus Financial for almost 5.5 years. And then I moved to Bangalore. Yes, I was throughout in operations management, building level 1, level 2, level 3 teams from the scratch, building command center. How does commands CM help in business growth as it is serving to existing customers? CM means customer management help in business. CE, okay. Yes, I answered that question, Nikki. That when you have multiple products in the line and when you are going and talking to the customer and you see there is a need that this customer should be on the second product, you just pitch in there. That is where it comes into picture. Okay, no open questions. Thank you so much. I think we are at the end of the hour. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I'm glad that I was a part of a big group today. My LinkedIn handle is Vikrant Saini. You can search with my name, at Customer Engineering at Razorpay. Thank you so much. Thanks, Sugandha.
Thank you, Vikrant. It was a very interactive session with a lot of questions, and you answered them all. So that's really great. And thanks to all our learners as well for all the questions. And we will see you again next week, and happy weekend. And thanks again, Vikrant, for your time.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Sugandha. Happy weekend to all of you.